Hey guys, this is Matt1 with our 7th iPhone programming tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to animate things, and how to move things, obviously, which is associated with that. So, this is like the first steps towards game creation, basically, is having things move around on the screen. And so, in order to do that, you have to know how to move things on the screen without animating, and then use Apple's magic code for UIKit for animating things. So we're going to create a new view-based application, and we'll call it animation testing. And for now, we're going to have an image view that we're going to be moving around. And an image view is just a UI image view. It's like a UI view, except we can have it display an image on the screen, an image file. So let's have an IV outlet my image and drag this image into resources and check copy and click OK. So we have an outlet. Let's also have an action that says do something. Okay, so let's go into our XIB, and set up all these things. So the essential part of what this app is going to do is we're going to have a button. It says do something, and we're going to have an image view that will be 200 by 200, and its image will be pi. Okay, and let's outlet this, my image, and let's action this, do something. Okay, now we're going to write code. First, we're going to start out by moving this a little bit. So let's implement this method and move that thing around. It's not going to animate, it's just going to jump, is how I like to describe it. So let's get our rectangle. Alright, so basically there is a type of data called a rectangle. It's CG rect. And basically what that does is it has an XY coordinate, and it has a width and height value. So that way you can keep track of the width and height and the X and Y. And those are stored in origin and size. So what we're doing here is we're getting CG rect is a structure, so it's a primitive C structure, so you don't have to make it a pointer. We're getting the rectangle from my image. Okay, that's the first step. The next step is we're going to set the width to 100, so it's going to be half as big. And yeah, now let's say what we're going to have to do is reset the frame of this, because this isn't a pointer. So when we change this, it doesn't change the my image frame. We have to do that ourselves. So what we're doing here is getting the rectangle, setting the width, setting the height, and then setting the rectangle back the way it should be. And so now if we run it, let's just see. We're going to click do something, and it's going to get smaller, because we set the width and height to 100 instead of 200, which they were before. Okay, so hopefully you get that part. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make this animate. And Apple built something into their UIView that does this. Is UIView, setAnimations, or beginAnimations, NULL, context null. And then you say UIView, setAnimationDuration. And you're going to set it to whatever amount of time in seconds. I'll do half a second, so 0.5. And I'll commit animations. If you haven't done graphing in school yet, or outside of school, I guess, then you might not understand how the XY system works, but hopefully you do. It's pretty straightforward. So if we run this, let's just see here, do something, boom, get smaller and animating. So I'll just point out right now that the XY starts from this corner, so this is 0, 0. This is like 320, 460. And so whatever place this is, it's going to be a smaller number and a higher number. Anyway, it will animate to that. The thing is that we're setting it to that same width and height every time. So we can say instead dot width equals, or how about times equals 1.2, which will multiply it by 1.2, making it slightly bigger every time. So it's going to get bigger now. And as you can see, it's getting larger, and it's going to be off our screen in a second because it's so stretched out. So let's just, I guess it's a fine number. Basically, what you're doing here is you're multiplying the size by 1.2, and this code just makes it animate. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just to give you another example of what you can use animations for, if I'll comment this out, you can also use them for setting the transparency. So my image, set alpha to 0.5, and this will make it half. I'll set it to 0.1, and you'll see it fade out in 0.5 seconds. There we go, it faded out, and now you can just barely see it. Alright, so we can also, before the animation, say my image set alpha 0.5, and now if we do this, it will go down, it'll go up and down, go up and down, go up and down, etc., etc., etc. And if we hold it, it'll stay at 0.5, I guess. Yeah, so that's basically how animations work. Anything between those code these two blocks, basically, anything between those will be animated that you do to a UI view. And they built that right in, so it's pretty cool. So you can also do other things with frames. This is just a preview of how to use frames. Another thing that's cool, if you don't want to have to use these frames to just move things around, you can say CG point center equals my image center. And this will give you the center point of the image. If you do lots of other things, if you use Coco's 2D, for instance, you deal with position as a center. So you can say center.x equals 200. Or you can say center.x equals, what's 320 over 2? It's 160. And center.y equals 460 over 2, which is, oh my god, it's 230. So there we go. And then you say my image set center. And this will move it to the center of the screen, which it already is located at, so it won't change anything. But yeah, so basically that's how animations work. You can change this point just so you see. If you set the center to some other point, it'll move it. So just moved it up, as you can see. So that is how animations kind of work. There are other ways to do it that are more dynamic, that you can control more. As you saw, like when you start a new animation, the previous animation dies and just immediately jumps to where it was going. So there are ways to do that dynamically, so you don't have to do that or deal with that. But this is the easiest way, and it's the least code to write, and it's the most understandable in my opinion. So this is what we're doing for now. This is the time it takes, obviously, and you can have multiple contexts. That's kind of complicated. So that's kind of how animation works, and I also showed you how to basically use UIView, the basics of it. So next time I'm going to be showing you how to do other ways of animation where you have a little more control. So anyway, thanks for watching MacHits 101. Subscribe, and goodbye.